They've lived through wars that reshaped nations, weddings that sparked lifelong love, losses that broke their hearts, and births that reminded them life goes on. They've seen the world spin faster than most of us can imagine. Decades of change, from black and white TVs to smartphones in every pocket. And yet, when you sit down with someone over 80 and ask what really mattered in all those years, their answers aren't what you'd expect. Not money, not fame, not a single mention of likes or followers. Instead, they share lessons so simple yet so profound, they might just change the way you live today. Today, we're diving into 5 life lessons from those who've lived long enough to know what's worth holding on to and what's worth letting go. These aren't just stories. They're hard-earned truths from people who've walked paths we're still navigating. So, grab a coffee, settle in, and let's uncover the wisdom that only time can teach. And trust me, you'll want to stick around until the end, because one of these lessons might just be the wake-up call you didn't know you needed. Lesson 1. Time doesn't wait for you to be ready. Time didn't stop when I was tired, he says. It didn't pause when I was scared. It just kept going, even when I stood still. His name is Walter, a retired mechanic who spent years dreaming of opening his own shop. But fear held him back. Fear of failure, of not being good enough, of the what-ifs that kept him up at night. He waited for the perfect moment to chase his dream. That moment never came. By the time he was ready, life had moved on. Walter's regret isn't about the shop he never opened. It's about the hours he spent hesitating, overthinking, waiting for permission from a world that doesn't give it. I learned the hard way, he says, that time doesn't ask if you're ready. It just passes. What's that thing you've been putting off? A call to someone you love? A dream you've tucked away? A step you're too scared to take? Don't wait. The clock isn't waiting for you. Take it from Walter. The right moment is the one you make right now. If Walter's story hit home, drop a comment below and tell us what dream you're ready to chase. And if you're loving these lessons, hit that subscribe button and share this video with someone who needs a nudge to take action. Let's keep this wisdom spreading. Lesson 2. Kindness outlives everything else. I've forgotten most faces, Eleanor says, but I'll never forget the ones who made me feel seen. She tells the story of a neighbor who always greeted her with a warm smile, even on her worst days. A nurse who held her hand tightly before surgery that terrified her. A stranger in a grocery store who quietly paid for her cart when she realized she didn't have enough cash and was too embarrassed to ask for help. These weren't grand gestures. They didn't make headlines. But decades later, Eleanor remembers how they made her feel. Valued, human, seen. It's the small moments of kindness, she says, that stick with you forever. Think about it. When was the last time you made someone feel seen? Not for applause or recognition, but just because it was the right thing to do. Kindness doesn't fade. It lingers longer than words or wealth ever could. Lesson 3. The ordinary is the real treasure. Pans to an empty chair across from him. Everyone dreams of big vacations or fancy celebrations. James says, his voice soft but heavy. But I'd give anything to relive a Tuesday morning with my wife. Just us, coffee, the sound of birds outside, the feel of home. James lost his wife 5 years ago. He doesn't miss the cruises they took or the parties they threw. He misses the quiet mornings, the routine moments that felt so ordinary at the time. I didn't know those were the sacred days, he says, until they were gone. The ordinary moments, the ones we rush through or take for granted, are the ones we'll miss the most. So today, pause. Look around. That boring routine, it's the gold you'll one day wish you could hold again. Lesson 4. Forgiveness is your freedom. Clara carried a grudge for over 40 years. A betrayal by someone she trusted turned her heart bitter. I thought holding on to that anger was justice, she says. But it wasn't hurting them. It was hurting me. That bitterness became a weight, making joy harder to feel and love harder to accept. One day, Claire decided to let it go, not because the betrayal was okay, but because she was tired of letting it define her. Forgiveness, she says, isn't saying it's fine. It's saying, I'm done letting this control me. Forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting. It means choosing peace for yourself. What weight are you carrying that's ready to be released? Lesson 5. It's never too late to start over. At 82, Henry picked up a paintbrush for the first time. At 88, Margaret took her first flight, soaring above the clouds with a grin that lit up the sky. At 90, Rose learned to dance, twirling like she was 20 again. And at 85, Thomas said, "I love you," to his daughter for the first time, tears in his eyes. They all thought it was too late, too old, too set in their ways. But as Henry puts it, it wasn't the end, it was just the beginning. Age doesn't limit you, only your belief that it does. Your potential isn't buried in numbers. It's alive as long as you are. So what's your too late? What's the thing you convince yourself you can't do? Take it from Henry, Margaret, Rose, and Thomas. You're not finished until you stop showing up. These lessons from Walter, Eleanor, James, Clara, and so many others aren't just for those over 80. They're for all of us. So ask yourself, what will you do with your time? Who will you be kind to today? What ordinary moment are you grateful for? What are you ready to let go of? And what are you brave enough to begin? If these stories touch your heart, you're not alone. Drop a comment below and tell us which lesson spoke to you the most. And if you want more stories that remind us what really matters, hit that subscribe button and share this video with someone who needs to hear it. Together, we can keep these voices alive. And here's something special. Do you have a story of overcoming, of lessons learned, of moments that changed you? We want to hear it. Send your story to seniorliftrealities@gmail.com. Who knows? The next video might be about you.